Hello Year 4. Sounds like Pip is coming to a decision about what he's going to do now. Let's see if he goes through with it. Let's see what happens. Chapter number 11. Pip turned round and stared through the gloom. His mother was standing in the doorway. She had closed the door behind her to avoid disturbing the others. "What are you doing?" she repeated. "Nothing," said Pip. "Come on, lambkin, don't fib. I'm not doing anything." "It's the middle of the night and you're sitting outside in the dark. That's not nothing. What are you really doing?" Pip stared through the gloom. He stood up, clutching his boots, and was surprised to hear himself say, "I'm going to London." "Why?" "To get our money back." "Forget the money," said his mother, taking a couple of steps towards him, keeping her voice low. "The money doesn't matter. We can always earn more money." "Of course it matters." She shook her head. "Some things are more important than money. They took what's ours." Each word that he spoke made him more confident, more sure of himself. He wasn't scared any more. He was ready. He said, "I have to get it back again." "Those men are different. They'll kill you." "Not if I kill them first." Isabel walked across the grass to her son. She reached out and touched his face with her hand. She whispered, "I know why you want to go to London, but please don't. Not yet." Pip looked hard at his mother. "I don't know what you mean." "You think you'll find your father, don't you?" "You told me he was dead." "I thought he was." "Thought?" "I still think he is." "So why did they say they'd seen him?" "They must have been lying." "Why would they lie about that?" "I don't know," said Isabel. "I really don't." As they spoke, the two of them were gradually shuffling away from the house, keeping their voices low, moving further into the woods so they wouldn't wake Samuel or the girls. Pip said, "Is he dead?" "I don't know, lambkin." "Did you see his body? Did you bury him?" Isabel shook her head. "No, I didn't." "So what happened? Why do you think he's dead?" Isabel shivered. She was wearing a thin, pale smock which stopped just above her knees. Her legs and feet were bare. "Come inside," she said, wrapping her arms around herself. "We can talk about this in the morning." "I want to talk about it now," said Pip. Once again he was surprised by himself. He'd never spoken to his mother like this before. Something had changed between them. He didn't know what, but he could sense that her power over him was ebbing away, leaving him to make his own decisions. He said, "If he's not dead, why did you tell me he was?" Isabel paused for a moment. Then she must have decided there was no reason to hide the truth. "Your father just vanished," she said. "One day he was here, the next he wasn't. I didn't know where he'd gone or what had happened to him. I didn't know anything. I waited, lambkin. I thought he'd come back again. I waited 2 years. And then? You know what happened." "No, I don't." "Samuel came to live here. And you had to say my father was dead so you could get married again?" "Not exactly." "Then what did happen?" "Come back inside. We can talk about this in the morning." I want to talk about it now," said Pip. "Is my father alive?" "I don't know," said Isabel. "Please, mother, just tell me the truth." "That's the truth. I don't know, but if I had to make a guess, I'd say he's probably dead. He's a violent man, your father. Most likely he got drunk, insulted someone, and they—" "I'm going to London," interrupted Pip. He turned his back on his mother and, carrying a boot in each hand, walked away. The grass was cold underfoot and stones dug into his bare soles, but he kept going, not wanting to hear any more of his mother's opinions about his father. He'd rather discover his father's character for himself. He'd taken 10 steps down the path when a voice cut through the murk. "Pip! Wait!" Something about his mother's voice made him stand still. Perhaps he really wanted to be persuaded to stay. Or perhaps things can't really change that quickly between two people. He was still her child, her boy, and he did what he was told. When Isabel reached him, she held his face between her hands, forcing him to look at her. "Your father," she sighed. "You'd be happier if you forgot him." "Why?" "He's not a good man." "I'm going," said Pip, trying to pull himself away. "Wait," Isabel whispered. She took him in her arms and hugged him. "Good luck, Pip, and God bless." They embraced for a moment, then Pip broke free and hurried down the path. He was half hoping that she'd called his name, forcing him to stop, but she didn't say a word. When Pip reached the edge of the clearing, just before he stepped into the dark woods, he paused to put on his boots. He knelt on the ground, surreptitiously sure he was being observed. He glanced over his shoulder and looked at the house. Nothing stirred. No one was watching him. His mother had already gone back inside, shutting the door after her. Pip pulled on his boots, turned his back on the house, and started walking. That's it. He's made his choice. Bye, Year 4.